it's Zoe from The Whisper Tree, and I have our weekly video which is all about why I see times of struggle, difficult times, as a gift. So you're probably wondering, that's a bit strange, but basically I feel that we all have periods, whoever we are, however enlightened we are, however far we're on our spiritual path. We all are faced at various times with difficult circumstances and tricky situations. And, as I said, it's irrespective of how open we are in our consciousness, how evolved spiritually we are, or, wherever we live, wherever we are in the world. As I said, we're all faced with those tricky circumstances. And it could be a circumstance relating to a health. We could be in some sort of health crisis. We could have lost our job. We could be grieving over a loved one, or a past aspect of ourselves. We could be moving house. It's anything that is difficult or potentially life-changing for us. And we could also be experiencing some sort of internal struggle as well, to do with our spiritual growth or a spiritual aspect of ourselves. Like some people may be struggling to know who they truly are, or they may be really, really wanting to discover more of their destiny and purpose, but they just don't simply know how to do this, and it's creating some sort of angst, internal angst or struggle for them. But whatever the circumstance, so whoever you are, we are all faced with those, really sort of intense times and struggle from time to time. So during these times of struggle, we have what we call our shadow aspects. We all have shadow aspects to our personality. It tends to be more negative aspects of ourselves that surface in these times of struggle because we feel more vulnerable. But they're surfacing for a reason. They're surfacing so that we can recognize them and even work towards clearing and releasing more of those aspects of ourselves. But they are very much aspects of us. They are part of who we are, and often it is about accepting them as well. So however difficult these times can be and however challenging, they are in fact presenting us with a golden opportunity to release more of them, to release more of those aspects of ourselves. And without those times, we simply would not grow. We just would not evolve in consciousness. We would stagnate, in fact. So this is a really, really positive way, if we can keep that in mind, of perceiving these times of struggle and times of challenge. And I like to call these times of struggle spiritual initiations. It's not me that's coined the phrase, but this is how we term it as far as transference healers are concerned, because I'm actually a transference healer practitioner. The transference healing frequencies and energies kind of weave into my practice and, into my consultations and into my workshops that I do. It's kind of the skeleton and the backbone of the work that I do. And this is how we term these difficult times. We call them spiritual initiations, and we kind of welcome it because we know that the more we surrender to the feelings that surface during these times, and that we accept that these are what we call spiritual initiations, the more we allow ourselves to change and transform, and the more we can purify our negativity and our negative thoughts and feelings, and intent and ego as well. But what I mean by purification is just kind of releasing more of the density and negativity, because this is what the spiritual initiation allows us to do, and this is what, whether we're conscious of it or not, is what we're trying to do. We're trying to purify. And when we release more, when we purify more, it means that we can allow the change and transformation, which is good, which is what we want. And it also means that we can embody more light, whether we are conscious of this process or not. This is what we're all ultimately trying to do, because then we grow in consciousness, we shift and change, and we are kind of moving along in our path of enlightenment. So it's all good. Although it's difficult and it's tricky, It is all good. So, and by kind of clearing more of this emotional, what I like to call debris or negativity, we're allowing these higher gifts and attributes. We all have higher gifts. We have about 20 or 21, each of us. But, sometimes we're so caught up in our emotional stuff that these gifts cannot anchor down. But by clearing more of it, we're allowing these gifts to surface and to anchor down within us, and our attributes to anchor down within us. The other thing that we need to be aware of is when we're awakening more and we're more on our spiritual journey, as I've been over the last few years, especially since discovering transference healing, we will be pushing, or we'll be accelerating more of our spiritual growth. And this means that we'll be bringing more initiations into us, into our lives. So, although it is tough, it's all good. So, for example, I do a lot of training and a lot of resets for my transference healing. I also go to shows like the MBS, at the NEC. And I hold groups. I have groups of women that come to me, and I also have clients that come to me for one-to-one healings. But in the lead up to each of these things, I have this either a slight or quite a major spiritual initiation, and it's just simply allowing me to purify more of my negativity, my density, so that I can bring in more transformation and change. And this is a gift. This is a gift that comes through, or the prize, if you like, the positive consequence of having to go through this internal struggle. Is that you get this change and transformation for really positive aspects of yourself, and you can release more of those shadow aspects of yourselves while you do this, and you purify. So it's a really, really good thing for us to be able to do more of this. And as I said, it's a golden opportunity to release the negativity. Now, so it's a cycle. Basically, you have this spiritual initiation that's triggered off. You have a negative circumstance, you're faced with a challenging time. This is a spiritual initiation. This allows for purification. So purification of your emotions, your mental thoughts, your intent, your ego. And then the last part of this process is the integration. So this is when you've gone through that transformation and change, but you need to embody it. And then you need to bring it into your life. You need to integrate it into your reality. And this is hard, because what's happening is that your loved ones, you go back to your reality, you're trying to embody more of this change. Your loved ones and those around you will feel this shift, will feel your power kind of surfacing, and it will trigger them, and it will trigger change within them. But they may resist that because they're not understanding it. It makes them feel uncomfortable because they have to go through their bit of initiation as well. It all trickles out, it all snowballs. So, there's ways in which we can support ourselves in these spiritual initiations, and it's important to support ourselves because it is a difficult time, it is a challenging time. So just by being conscious of all this is going to greatly help you, because it is a temporary thing. You are going to move through that shift. Now, if you don't move through it and it's going on for weeks and weeks, then you need support. So I would suggest you get with deep healing, something like transference healing that can do this for you. And I know, because I've done the training, I know how it can really support us in these times. It will really help to shift you through. Okay, I would then be every moment by moment, when you're in that difficult space, just to remember to connect in more to your heart. Open your heart out, listen to your intuition, making sure you're making the right decisions for you in the moment, and being more intentional, more heartfelt when you're in your spiritual practices. Every day I open my heart, I run energy, I run an aspect of transference healing to help support myself. in the lead up during my spiritual initiation, or when I know that I'm going to be doing some sort of training, because it will be pushing me, and I need to do that purification. So this will help me. And just surrendering as well. Surrendering is key. Surrendering to the processes, surrendering to the stuff that comes up. And just remember that you are in these circumstances for a reason, and you will get that golden opportunity for transformation and change. Holding your light, just holding yourself, because you're going to know that as you go back to your reality, that you are going to have to hold that change within you, and that others in your family, your loved ones, are going to get triggered. They will get triggered, and they're going to be faced with being pushed for change as well, and there may be a little bit of resistance. And also know that you're purifying, you're emotionally releasing. These emotions, these thoughts are coming up for you to shift them. So just know that that's what it is, and that it's okay to feel like that. And that's the most important thing. I just say to myself, it's okay for me to feel like this. I'm going through this process for change, and that I know I will shift through it. And as I said, if you feel stuck, if it's going on for weeks and weeks, then get help, get a deeply shifting healing, because this will help you, and honour yourself in that way. You are worth it. You're the trailblazer for the family unit. If you're listening to this, it probably is you that's going to be going through those shifts and changes. You're the trailblazer. You need to support everyone else through that process as well. So honour yourself, get that healing if you need it. Now, just to finish off, I've just bought a few of my crystals just along to show you, because crystals can support us in many different ways. They hold different properties, and they will be supporting that shift and change within ourselves. So there are many different ones. These are the ones that I'm working with at the moment, because I myself personally have been going through a bit of a shift, because I've just, as I said, been to the MBS. I've had to talk and have a stand and talk to members of the public, and it's difficult, and it will, it brought up an initiation for me. So I've got all these crystals around me. So the first ones are carnelian, that I want to show you, this gorgeous crystal. It's very reddy brown. It's quite an earthy crystal. It can look more red like this, or I've got a smaller piece that looks more brown, but very earthy. Now this crystal, carnelian, helps with balancing out the emotions, just supporting the mental body, and it just helps to release any unwanted negativity, any emotional stuff that you need to clear. So, I have these by my bedside at the moment. You've got selenite, which can present itself slightly differently. Selenite is a very common crystal, so you can have it a bit like this, in this sort of shape, or as a wand. Love this. I got this from the NEC last week. So this is called a selenite wand. Both of these enhance motivation, courage, shifting negativity, so they're perfect. I have these in my bed. It's quite fibrous. I don't know whether you can see this, but it's quite fibrous in texture. So this one more than this one. So just be aware of that. It's quite fragile. I wouldn't leave these out. I wouldn't leave selenite outside to clear, because I think it wouldn't, it's a bit fragile as a crystal. And then lastly, quartz. Quartz you get everywhere. This is actually a quartz point. So this point allows for more embodiment of light. So it's perfect. It's called the power crystal. It's like white light in that, all the colours unite to make white, but all the crystals, the properties of the crystals unite and would make quartz. This is why it's so powerful. It's so versatile, and it's just brilliant for clearing negativity and just supporting in times of initiation. So I would highly suggest, if you have any of these crystals, to get them, and to have them around you. I wear a lot of crystal jewellery as well, so if you have quartz as a jewellery or any of those, then wear them. You need them, especially if you're going through these times of struggle. Okay, I hope this helped, and thank you so much for watching.